Good day. A long time ago we had a discussion on this channel about when and where the civil war will start in Europe. And this was before the elections in Germany, France and Italy. And people suggested it's going to happen in France, Italy, Germany or the UK mainly. And I said France. Yeah, it was a good discussion. I did a couple of videos about it. And now we see all these protests in France. And I read this. I don't know if this is true, but apparently Macron's regime forces was ordered to use snipers against protesters. And they did apparently target one protester. This is a very bad sign. Looks like France is sort of imploding. It's like falling into itself now. Now there's a big difference between France and Italy, because they had a good election in Italy and a bad one in France. So the Italians now have some hope. They have been suffering in Italy and in France, of course, but in Italy they have a better government. They have a nationalist government. And in France they have Macron, which is even worse than before. So it looks like it's shaking in France right now. And when the government is willing to use deadly force against its own citizens, this is awful. Okay, now something completely different. This is about Justin Trudeau. I don't like this guy, but I think he's amusing somehow. I understand if you Canadians don't find him amusing, but he's saying these weird stuff, and I think it's strange that he is the PM of Canada. I really do. And I had to check this out, if this was true. And it was. This is what this guy said in a speech. I was watching the video. He said, well, he warned about the social impacts of male construction workers in rural areas. Yeah. And then he said that women entrepreneurs make better choices. We see this in study after study, he says. Why don't you show these studies, Mr. Trudeau? Wow. Well, I'm sure some women entrepreneurs make good choices, but this has nothing to do with gender. What a stupid man. And you remember this quote a long time ago. He said, he's famous for this quote. He said, there was somebody in the audience who said, mankind. And he said, we like to say people kind, not necessarily mankind, because it's more inclusive. Right. This went viral, and I didn't know this, but he apologized for this just after. I just found out. You know, people were ridiculing him for being excessively politically correct. And this is what he said. You all know that I don't necessarily have the best of track records on jokes. I made a dumb joke a few days ago that seems to have gone a little viral. That's what he said. He said, it played well in the room and in context. Out of context, it doesn't play so well. And it's a little reminder to me that I shouldn't be making jokes, even when I think they are funny. Now, here's the thing. I don't think this was a joke. When he said that you should say people kind, and that it is more inclusive. I think he was serious about this. This is how he thinks. That's what I think. So I don't buy it, Trudeau. This was not a joke. And then here's another quote from Mr. Trudeau, and I wonder if he thinks this was a joke too. He's talking about ISIS fighters. You know, he's been very friendly to these guys. He wants them back. So he says that he wants to work with ISIS fighters and help them to let go of that terrorist ideology. Okay. Is this another joke, Trudeau? I don't think so. Alright, that's it. Bye.